Hey, welcome to Tuesday Tea Time with Dorina. I want to welcome all the first time viewers and our replay viewers. Thank you for joining us. We are from Women of Wisdom. We are a nonprofit organization here to empower teen girls and women with practical wisdom and confidence. We are here to bridge that generational gap between the older and the younger generations. So, why? Because we need each other. And guess what? We cannot pass on knowledge unless we have somebody to pass it on to. Okay, so we are here for you. You can believe that. So, anywho, I am starting out with my tea time cup. I actually got a tea time cup from my daughter-in-law. Tuesday tea time with Dorina. Isn't that sweet? And I am doing a different tea tonight again. I am doing a ginger aid because the last ginger that I had last week, I really liked that. And it's just really good for the body. Okay. So Tuesday tea time with Dorina. Tea time. This is really hot too. I don't know if you can see the steam, but it's hot. But I like mine. I like that. And I do have honey with my tea because you know I like honey with my tea anyway. So if you've been watching, you know that by now. Okay, so tonight, oh my goodness, we're gonna talk about mistakes. Okay, who doesn't make mistakes? Okay, mistakes is a part of life, and we have to learn how to cope with making mistakes and not tearing ourselves down because we made that mistake. So, we're going to get into some juicy stuff tonight. And I hope that you have your beverage and you fill your cup up with wisdom tonight as well. Okay. I don't know what this is doing, but okay. All right. So I have a slide I'm going to share with you tonight so that we can go over some things, um, dealing with mistakes. So let's just go ahead and dive in. And if you have a comment or anything, leave it in the comment box. It will show up and I can share it with our viewing audience and we can discover what to do together and how to make less mistakes as possible because there are some mistakes we don't have to make if we're watching and observing other people's mistakes. And there are some mistakes that are repetitive and we need to stop that cycle. So we're going to talk about that tonight and hopefully learn how to recreate our lives in a better cycle and journey. Okay. Okay. So let me share this with you. All right. Here it is. Okay. So I saw this post today and I had already got this, message to talk about mistakes. And I saw this post today and I was like, oh my goodness, that is really good. I'm going to share that. And so, it says when you repeat a mistake, it is not a mistake anymore. It's a decision. And so I thought, let me check that out and see exactly what that's talking about. So we're going to talk about that in a minute. Let me move this banner out of the way so that you can see. Okay, this is better. Okay. So, number one is acknowledge the mistakes and assess what happened. And I put the word critique there because, um, you know, I teach and bring messages in other places, and it gets recorded and everything. And what I do is I go back and I listen to it, and I know that's hard to do. It's hard to listen to yourself, but I go back to critique uh my messages to see what mistakes I may have made so that I can improve, so I don't keep repeating those same mistakes, you know. And so we need to acknowledge, I really want to touch on this. I don't do it to criticize myself. I do it to empower myself. Okay? Because I'm empowering myself when I'm improving myself. Okay? And I want the same thing for you. Okay, so when we're dealing with mistakes, you must we must acknowledge the mistakes. Okay, we can't ignore them because you can't change anything that you refuse to look at. If you refuse to acknowledge that there is a problem, you can't fix that problem. And it's important that we acknowledge that fact, and that, okay, we made a mistake. We all make mistakes. Everybody make mistakes, but everybody doesn't want to own up to their mistakes. And it's important that we do own up to our mistakes, acknowledge them. Okay, I made a mistake, and recognize that this is a part of life. Okay. And then you want to assess what happened. Go back and look and see what happened. And that can be painful. It can be painful to go back and assess, but it's necessary that we do that. It's necessary that we go back and look and revisit and gain the value in the lesson, and gain understanding, gain knowledge and wisdom. We have the experience, and we put all that together because remember what I said about wisdom. Wisdom is the ability to use knowledge correctly. So the knowledge that you gain out of that mistake or the experience that you had, you assess it, why it happened, how it happened, what did I do to make this happen? And that will help you not repeat that mistake over again. Okay? So it may be painful to revisit, but revisit for your own good, just like what I was saying, to empower yourself. Okay? Okay, take responsibility. Let's look at this slide. We have to take responsibility for our actions no matter what others do. Wow. Okay. You know what? Uh, that can be really difficult a lot of times, because if you take number one, not acknowledging, or acknowledging our mistake, and then you take number two, uh, we have to be responsible for our actions. If we don't apply both of those things, we cannot change our situation, because you have to take responsibility for your actions. And I'm not talking about taking responsibility for other people's. wrongs that they done to you, and you was the innocent party. I'm talking about things that, you can look and see your own self, that, you either provoke that person, or you put yourself in a situation where you could be taken advantage of. Go back and assess those things, and uh, recognize, where you may have made a mistake, or where you may have, made the wrong turn. You know what I'm saying? Look at that, and take responsibility for what you did, and you know what? That is something that we really need to do, and we need to show our children, show other people that we are those type of people. We have wisdom, and we do take responsibility for our actions, because now nobody wants to take responsibility. We want to blame everybody else for what we do, but no one can make us do anything. We decide to do it. Even if someone influences us, we allowed ourselves to be influenced by that person. We have the will to choose to do whatever we decide to do. And so let's be people that are responsible and take responsibility for our own actions, because we don't want to keep repeating mistakes over and over again. Okay, that's just stupidity, insanity. You know, I'm sure you probably heard, this before. We tend to, what am I trying to think of? We do the same thing over and over and over again, and we expect different results. That's insanity. You know, you can simplify that by looking at other things. If you, whatever you do, that's in the same thing, you're going to get the same results. That's what I'm saying. Whatever you do, you get the same results. And so you want different results, you have to change what you do. Okay, so take responsibility for our own actions. Okay. Okay. Number three is recognize that mistakes are necessary. Wow. You can't learn. We learn by our mistakes. So mistakes are necessary because they teach us what not to do. And Thomas Edison said, he said, let me see if I can remember this. Uh, I have not failed. I've learned 10,000 ways not to do something again. Okay. I know I didn't quote that correctly, but you get the gist of what I'm saying. So, we learn through our mistakes. And so, this is really a good place to say, okay, don't beat up on yourself when you make a mistake. If you have the disposition, or if you have the attitude that uh mistakes are necessary, then it kind of gives you the right perspective of how to handle yourself when you make a mistake. And so some of us, we're real hard on ourselves, and um, you know, if we look at it in a different light and say, okay, mistakes are necessary. Okay, then we don't have to beat up on ourselves when we do make a mistake. It's like, oh man, that was so dumb. That was just so stupid. well, maybe it was dumb, maybe it was stupid, but learn from it and don't just dwell on that fact. Don't rehash the mistake. Don't just keep rehashing it. It's okay to revisit it, and gain the valuable lesson out of it that you can learn, but don't keep rehashing over that mistake. Because really what you're doing is you're digging a ditch, a big ditch for yourself, and then it's hard to climb out of it. It's a ditch of depression. It's a negative uh vibe, and you do not want to get drown yourself in negativity because you made a mistake. Okay? Learn from it. All right. Okay. And which takes us right into number 4, learn from them. Okay. We can't let our brains get us stuck in the stupidity of our actions. You know, and some of you know that I studied the brain, and I was just compelled to do that. And we have what they call neural pathways in our brains. It's like highways in our brain. And when we develop like a habit of doing something, that's a pathway, that's a highway in our brain, and we can actually build a pathway of drowning in mistakes, allowing ourselves to just rehash over it and repeat the same mistakes over and over again. We can do that because we're building a pattern in our brain to keep doing things over and over again. And we can change that. It does not have to be like that. And what we have to do is we have to uh like I said, critique ourselves. Listen to yourself. What are you saying to yourself? All the negative things that you're saying. You can tear those pathways down by recreating a better pathway just by what you say to yourself. And even, your thoughts, what you think, what you say, start saying the right things to yourself that, that, what? Okay, I made this mistake. I own up to it. Yes, okay. But you know what? I'm not making that mistake anymore. And I'm gonna find out the knowledge that I need to not do this again. Okay. So don't get stuck in the stupidity of your actions. You can change them. Okay, so number 5 is let's be kind to ourselves and accept forgiveness. As you can see, it's kind of overlaying as I speak over some of the other listings that I have here. But we do need to learn how to be kind to ourselves and accept forgiveness. And I personally had a problem in this area because I was really hard on myself when it came to making mistakes. And I had to learn how not to be that way, how not to beat myself up just because I made a mistake, and learn that these things are a part of life. It is a part of the journey that we live, and it's normal. It's normal. Now it's abnormal to keep making that mistake over and over and over and over again. And so I would advise you, if you're uh repetitively stuck in a situation over and over again and you are abusing yourself or you're being abused, I advise you to go get professional help. Uh, because you more than likely are not going to be able to get out of that thing by yourself, you know. So, but you can get out. And so, uh, be kind to yourself and accept forgiveness. Okay, number 6, look towards the future. Oh, this is a really good positive one. Look towards the future. Don't look, don't have a goal in mind. Have somewhere you want to go in life and look towards that, and keep in mind that, you know, you are on a race, you are on a journey, and pick up yourself. Something that my stepmom used to tell me all the time. She would tell me, she said, chin up, chin up. And so some of you know that I was a victim of teen pregnancy. And you know oh man, I felt bad. I felt like, oh man, this was a really big mistake. You know, my self-worth was and my self-esteem was so low, and I felt like I let down, my dad, and just you feel like other people are looking at you and they're just judging you, which some people are anyway. But you know I always think like this, you without sin cast the first stone. How about that? But I had to learn that, and I had to learn to keep my chin up, even though I made a mistake. And so, you know, you can't let everybody else expectations of you failing keep you failing. You know, rise above the mistake and, you know, change your situation because you can. I'm a living testimony that you can. And that's what I did. I changed my situation and started learning from my mistakes, and not just keep repeating them over and over again, but using them, like I said last week, as a stepping stone so that I could have a better life. And you know what? As you go up and you go up and you go up, life gets better. You have more confidence in yourself. You feel good about the path that you're on, and it's easier to deal with situations when you have the right mindset about them. When you recognize that, okay, yeah, mistakes is a part of life. But, like I said, when you start repeating them over and over and over again, then you need somebody else to come alongside you and walk that out with you. And you find somebody that has your best interest at heart, and allow them to speak life into your situation, and be a listener. Be a listener. Because sometimes when we make mistakes, we don't want to listen to someone else, give us constructive criticism, or we don't want to listen to what somebody else says because it hurts. Like I said, sometimes you got to revisit that pain, but you revisit to evaluate it, to assess it, to get the valuable lesson out of it, so that you can use the wisdom that is within it to cause you to make less mistakes. Some mistakes are not necessary. Okay. So, as you can see on here, it says when you repeat a mistake, it is not a mistake anymore, it's a decision. Okay. So, there's some things you're deciding to live like that. You're deciding, and you need to find out what in the world is going on. Why am I allowing myself to go through this type of torture? Because it is torture. Why am I allowing myself to continue to go through that? You need to do some soul searching and find out if there's some fear issues that you are afraid to face, or some responsibilities that you are neglecting to own up to. you know you know what, I had to just get to the place where I just said, okay, you know what, I know I did this. I know I did this. But you know what, everybody make mistakes. It's a part of life. I don't have to uh put myself in the jail of guilt, because I made a mistake. You know what? Someone told me and my husband this one time, which was, oh my goodness, so good. It helped us in our relationship as we were growing together and learning some stuff. And they told us that, your mistakes that you've made, yeah, everybody, you know, is looking at the current mistakes that you made. But when you take a turn and you start changing, people stop looking at your mistakes and they start looking at your change, because your change is consistent. You have to have a consistent change. And because of the mistake or the repeated thing that you've been doing is so huge, when you make a major decision to change that around and you start doing new things and doing things different, people start to notice the different things that you're doing. But until uh you get to that place, you have to make up in your mind that you don't want to keep repeating that over again. So how about that for tea time? Let's take a tea time break. Tea time. Now that I let it sit for a while, it's good. Mm. Okay, so let's forgive ourselves for whatever mistake we made, and let's move on to number 6. Uh, or was that what the one we was already on? Yeah, look forward, look towards the future. That was the one that we was on. Okay. So yes, look towards the future. Put a goal before you. Put something out there that's reachable. you know like I said before, with my kids, I always tell them, have goals. Have a 6-month goal, have a yearly goal, have a 5-year goal, have a 10-year goal. Write it down on paper. Write it down on paper. And then start planning how you're going to reach those goals. And you don't have to share them with everybody, because some people you share them with, they will try to destroy your plans. Okay. if you're around the wrong type of people. So you got to be careful about who you share what with. Know that you're sharing stuff with somebody that that's got your back. You know they got your back. You're not sure that they have your back. Do not share your stuff with them. And get you a journal and start journaling down what you can do to change your situation. This my 6 month goal, this my yearly goal, this my 5 year goal, and then go for it. And don't let nothing deter you from reaching those goals, because you know what? They are going to make you have the confidence that you need. You will gain wisdom and you will make mistakes down the line, but those are mistakes that you can turn into steps. Those are mistakes that you can learn from and gain experience, gain knowledge, skill, and wisdom with, and so that you can start making a better judgment call on situations and improve your lifestyle, because you want to improve your lifestyle. That's what a woman of wisdom is. A woman that knows how to build her house and knows how to improve and empower yourself. Yes. So we can do this thing. We can do it. I want to encourage you. You can do it. Okay, so look towards the future. Don't look at your past mistakes unless you are evaluating how not to make those mistakes anymore. Okay, let's move on to number 7, being resilient. That word has been so thrown out in society today. Resilient, be resilient. Yeah, resilience, and, I'm saying the same thing, be resilient, but let's find out what being resilient is. It says people that are able to recover easily and quickly from unpleasant or damaging events. Okay, you can become a resilient person. And it's okay if you're not there yet. Okay. It's not okay if you stay where you are. So, what you want to do to become a resilient person is you want to change your situations and turn them around. You want to be the type of person that springs back. That's another definition to that. It's kind of like elasticity. You take elastic, you can stretch it, and it comes right back, to their original size and everything. And so, we go through situations and we don't want those things to knock us out of the ring. We want to get back up and fight the fight that we need to fight to win. Okay? Because we're in this journey to win. We are not in this journey to lose. And all those that don't want to win, get away from them and start hanging around with the winners. Start hanging around with the eagle people that I talked about in one of the previous Tea Times message. Go back and listen to it. Soaring with the Eagles, okay? Because that's what you want to be around, people that can pop back after situations. And sometimes it's just a matter of making a quality decision and then allowing your emotions to catch up with the decision that you made, because we are females and we have a tendency to be led by our emotions. We tend to make a lot of mistakes because we go by what we feel. Well, this feels good, this feel right. or it feels wrong and I'm sad, and but we can decide not to be sad anymore. You know what? When I found out that it was just a decision that I had to make, that I didn't want to be angry anymore or mad about something that somebody did to me. And let's just cancel this out. We're not angry women. That is not who we are. And whoever came up with that saying came up with a lie, because we are not accepting that as our in our resume, or we're not accepting that as a character of ours. We're not angry women. You know, everybody gets upset. Everybody gets upset. Everybody gets angry about stuff. That's an emotion that affects us all. But we can decide not to be angry. We don't have to let that thing, you know, cause us to carry it to our bed and wake up in the morning and still be having the same problems. Really, it's a matter of just making a decision just like that and allowing your emotions to catch up with your decision. Okay? We're talking about, using your brain and using your mind and having a keen mind and not allowing your emotions to lead you. And you know what? Resilient people, they are not led by their emotions. They are led by their decisions. And that's what you want to be. A resilient person, that something happens, you like, okay, I acknowledge that happened. I accept, I take responsibility for whatever uh, I did to cause it, or I did or I to provoke it. Or, if somebody else did something, you know what? You're not going to ruin my life because of your actions. And there are people that have, oh goodness, okay, I'm talking to somebody right now. There are some people that have been mistreated and have been profusely taken advantage of by those that have no scruples, you know, and, you know, it's not your fault that they damaged you. Okay. But you can get out of that, and you can forgive them without continuing to let them treat you like that. Okay. It's not about, arguing and cussing people out and, being belligerent. That's not what it's about. It's about being intelligent and knowing how to deal with situations properly without falling to pieces. You do not have to handle situations like that. There is an intelligent way to do things, and a woman of wisdom does things with intelligence. Okay. Okay. So it's about the rebound. Okay. How you gracefully get back up. Okay. It's not always about how hard you fail, but oh my goodness, how gracefully do you get back up? And you know what? Sometimes you just gotta um, you know, have that finesse, about yourself, and go on about your business and do your thing. And you know what? You let people fall to the wayside. You let people, decide to do whatever they're going to do, but they are not going to govern your life and your feelings and your emotions for you. You're going to govern those things for yourself. You're going to make your own decisions, that you're not going to allow people to destroy your goals and your future. You have a plan and you stick with your plan, and you know, do you, girl, do you on a greater plane. Let's see that beautiful person that you are come out and blossom from that caterpillar to a butterfly. Because you know what? Even though you may be the caterpillar right now, that butterfly is in you and waiting to appear. And you know what? When you're in the cocoon, there's all kinds of stuff going on. Don't tell me that in dark places something beautiful cannot come out to the light, because that's the butterfly. Okay. So you may have had some darkness in your life. It may have been for a short time, it may have been for a long time, but you don't have to stay in that. And you just blossom and learn and change, transform, and be that beautiful butterfly that you are. Okay. So I want to reiterate this. When you repeat a mistake, it is not a mistake anymore, it's a decision. Remember that, so that when it's time for you to make that change, you recognize, okay, it's my decision. This is my decision. No one else has the right to make the decision for you. You make your own decision. I remember when my kids, and I'm gonna say this and then I'm gonna let you go. I remember when my kids was young and they always say, well, I want to make my own mistakes, and I'm like, oh my goodness. Okay. Well, you know what? Experience is not the best teacher, but is the most effective one. Okay. Or I won't say it's the most effective one. I will say it's effective. Okay. Experience is effective, but the best way to learn is by observation, watching other people, the mistakes that they made, seeing the results of what they did, that it didn't accomplish them anything, taking that information and turning it into wisdom for you so that you don't make that same mistake. Now that's good. I had to learn it. You have to learn it if you're going to be a woman of wisdom. Okay? All right. So I want to thank you for joining us tonight. I love you. This is Tuesday Tea Time with Dorina, and I am out. And remember, walk in wisdom. All right. Good night. Apply what you learn.